Hello, everyone. I suppose I should wait a minute. Make sure you guys are all here for that commercial. That always starts at the beginning. Can you see me yet? Good morning. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday to you and the last day of September. Today is Friday, September 30th, 2022. I'm Angela with Happy Little Stitch Shop. And today we are getting together to do a Prairie Meadow live sewing time. But anybody, I think people will be working on some different things. So let me know what you guys are working on. I'm going to be working on Prairie Meadow Block 4. So this is where I'm at with this. Whoa. This is where I'm at with my block. I was a little bit late today because I told you that we were going to try to do our inaugural run for a different camera setup. So that's what was taking so long. And clearly we're having technical difficulties because I'm still on this camera, but we have an overhead camera here. Let me show you. Ta-da! And we have a different camera over there. So everything's like set up. And right when we went to start, the cameras weren't connecting to YouTube. So only this camera shows. So I don't know what's going on. So while we're doing this today, we may be messing around with some stuff just to see if we can get it to work, if you don't mind. But let's see who is here this wonderful Friday morning. Hello, Kay. It's a beautiful day in Missouri. Hope yours is too. Prayers for Florida friends, for sure. Yes, continued prayers for people in Florida. Yes, it is a beautiful day here. It's sunny, blue skies, lovely, lovely weather. Hello, Sue. Happy Friday to you. Hello, Jane. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Kathy. Working on block 5, taking the pins out and getting ready to machine based. I love it. Debbie, I have block 2 ready to applique. Behind, however, working on too many quilts at a time. I can relate to that, Debbie, for sure. So I'm just plugging away. I'm going to get caught up eventually. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Amy. Working on block 3 of Shoe Fly Stars. Beautiful. Hello, Laurel. Hello, Sally Quilt. Hello, Sherry. You are welcome. You are welcome for the adjustment. Hello, Martha. Good morning to you. Tracing blocks 2 through 5 with you all while I watch. You'll be caught up in no time. Hello, Jane. Yes. So little by little, our space is coming together. So we got the quilt ladder back up in here. There's more to be done, but slowly it's coming together as we get stuff kind of put where we want to. I had stuff put where I wanted it to go yesterday. And then we set all of this up. So like everything's out, all in a jumble again to make room for all this stuff. But yeah, blocks 1 through 3 are back here. So there's 1, 2, 3. Working on 4. Hope to catch up on 5 soon. Judy, hello. I'm canning applesauce. It's perfect time of year for that. Hello, Sue. Do you like it? Thank you for noticing. I am kind of loving it, except it kind of smells. So I don't love that. It's a little bit stinky. But our live set, I can call it a set. I mean, it's not really, we're not part of the big leagues, but I'm going to call it a set just for fun. It's coming together, and I hope you guys enjoy it because that's what we're doing it for. We're doing it for you guys, so I hope that you like it. Alice, hello, Sally Quilt. Working on block 5, but I skipped the handwork phase on block 4 for right now. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to do a bunch at one time. Laurel is working on cross stitch. You are the boss. I love it. Sharon, your room is coming along. It is, Sharon. Thank you so much. Little by little, we're piecing it back together. It's kind of like making a quilt. You take it all apart and cut it all apart, and then you piece it all back together. Judy, hello. First time to be here on your live. Yay. I'm on my second block of Prairie Meadow and have blocks cut out through 6. Love it. Of course, I also have way too many other L'Oreal projects. Yes, we are all kind of in that boat. So I wish you guys could see what I'm doing today. That was the whole point of this overhead camera. And like I said, we might be trying to tweak stuff. I'm not sure if we're going to try to figure stuff out or not, but we may try to tweak as we're going along. So we'll see how that goes. But eventually we will have this so that I can be talking to you and we can be chatting and sewing together and you can be seeing what I'm doing. Gwen says, Angela, approximately how many granny squares have you done? I might be around, I think I'm around like 50 to 60. Yeah, I would say that's a decent estimate. Be still and know I'm new. Hello, be still and know. Working on block 3 while Ian comes on shore here in South Carolina, but I'm further north and you're further north, Maureen. Well, please be safe. And I hope you're enjoying block 3 as you're plugging along, as you're working along. So my daughter is here to read comments for us so that we can continue to chat, but I can work while we're chatting. So I put this together. I glued that on. So that's done. I have some pieces cut out and turned already. And I have a bunch of pieces I need to cut and turn. So that's what I'm going to be working on while we are chatting. And I really wanted to talk with you guys about books. We normally have a little bit of a chat about books while we're standing here working. And as you guys know, I have been reading through or listening on Audible through the Elm Creek Quilt series. And I did book 1. I was on book 2. I finished book 2 and kind of can't believe about all of the announcements from Sylvia at the end. What did you guys think about that? And so I'm curious to see where all that goes. But then I decided to take a little bit of a break from Elm Creek Quilt series and do a different one and then get back to it. And so the one that I'm listening to now was again recommended by Lori on one of our last stitch hours, I think. And it's called These Is My Words. Do you guys remember talking about that one? That's the one I'm listening to right now. And I'm kind of far into it because I just cannot stop listening to it. I want to see what's going to happen. And the trials that these poor pioneers went through is just insane to me as you listen to this woman's story. It blows my mind. Reading. Is anything, he's still figuring stuff out. Martha says, I love your name, Be Still and Know. Well, that's so nice.
Kathy says, what is that book named again that you're currently listening to?
It's called These Is My Words. Let me look up who it's by. These is my words, and it's by Nancy Turner. So this is what it looks like. These is my words by Nancy Turner. And it's written journal entries. So she's just like reading her journal entries to you each day or each time she does an entry. And it's about what's going on as they're pioneering across the United States to get to their place. So it's very interesting to just hear what people had to go through and what was happening at that time. It's based in like the 1880s. And it's horrifying, some of the stuff that they had to go through, some of the experiences that they had. So you guys know me, I love the historical aspect of it, and I like trying to see and empathize with what people had to go through to get to where the rest of their family is today.
Kathy says, thank you. My ancestors pioneered. I love the historical stories like this myself.
Me too. And I think you guys are all much further ahead in Elm Creek Quilt series than I am. Because I think a lot of you have like read many, many books. I'm only finished with book 2, and we'll be moving on to book 3. And then the same with Mitford series. I think book 3 is next in that for me. And then I've gotten so many other book suggestions from you guys. So I don't know if we can do that, because I think once you stop the stream, you lose it. You like have to start a whole nother one. So here are just a few of the recommendations you guys have given me that I have added to my wish list. The Dressmakers of Auschwitz sounds really interesting. Chains, which is a sequel to Fever. Is that right?
I don't know. I thought it was the sequel. I thought it was just written by the same author, like set in the same time period.
So Fever is really, really good. That's one of my favorites. Educated is another one that was recommended. Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker, which also sounds very good. The Four Winds, which I had heard of that one before. That was recommended to me a long time ago by a friend. And I have the actual book and I've never read it. So those are just a few of the ones that you guys have recommended to me or other people have. But it's always fun to listen to a book as I'm working.
Nancy says, just downloaded it on the Libby app. Thanks for the recommendation.
You're welcome. Which one? The These Is My Words one?
Stitching Granny of 17 says, your room is shaping up great. I'm not doing this so long. I think I'm regretting it now.
Oh, that happens. That happens to me often. Oh, I really want to make that. And I don't, or I say, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I end up regretting it. Yes, it is coming together little by little. We're piecing it back together.
Nancy says, yes, these is my words.
Oh, good. I hope you enjoy it. It was recommended, like I said, by Lori a few I don't know, the last stitch hour I think we did, where we were crocheting together. Boy, these little stars are tricky little buggers.
Sharon says, I'm in a book club and love the book recommendations.
Oh, good.
Martha says, Angela, you have me wanting to read those books. You should add that list on your blog so we can make a list.
Oh, that's a good idea. And I think, so we did I put the question out there on our Happy Little Stitchers Facebook page one time because I was looking for a book that to jump into that was going to be good. And there were so many recommendations that came from that post. So that post is still out there. So every once in a while, I go and track down that post and look at what all the recommendations were from people because there were a lot out there.
Kathy says, anyone know of more Pioneer books?
That's a good question. I'm sure there are. There seems to be a lot of people who really appreciate that history. So I bet there will be lots of recommendations.
Connie Zappian says, new follower, hi.
Hello, Connie. How are you? And are you sewing or stitching today?
Curry Sutton says, hi, I've referred my new Facebook friend to come and say hi. Say hi to Connie, new follower.
Oh, Connie, hello. That's the same Connie that just said hi, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you decided to give us a try. Today is a little bit of an unusual live stream. We do these sewing lives every once in a while just to kind of hang out with each other and chat and kind of motivate. Well, it motivates me. I don't know if it motivates you guys, but motivate people to get a little bit of sewing time in. So we don't have these live streams. Oh, I forgot to cut one. We don't have these live streams all the time. These we just fit in every once in a while. But each week we do get together on Mondays for floss tube, for cross stitching, and every once in a while crochet sneaks in there too. And then on Thursdays we get together for quilting lives, and crochet sometimes sneaks its way in there. Crochet is like the wild child that just goes between the two. But we have nice chats and meetings every Monday and Thursday, and then we try to throw some fun stuff in here and there. Sewing lives, stitching lives, crocheting lives, where we just get together and hang out. And then when new fabric releases are getting ready to release, we have new release parties.
Maureen says, when you did the sewing on block 3 stems and leaves, did you sew around them or sew the stem first and then attach the leaf, then sew?
Block 2, is that what she said? Block 3?
Yeah.
Which?
Block 3.
Block 3. So for this, what I would do is I glue it all down ahead of time, and then I would sew. This is how I would do it. I can just tell you what I would do. I would sew along here, and then probably continue. You can continue around here, and then up here. And what I would probably do is I would do the stem. I would sew here, cut it off. Sew here, go across underneath here, and then go back down, cut it off, and then sew there. And then I would do the leaf all as one. So that's how I would do it. But I think there are a number of ways that you could do it and you would be just fine. But I would do the stem, but I wouldn't do the stem under the leaf because I already glued it down. I wouldn't do that. And then I would do the leaf all as one. So the stems in pieces and the leaf as one is how I would do it. But what would other people do?
Maureen says, FYI, I had to do many of the flowers you're turning right now. Very easy to poke through.
Sometimes I have a problem with that. So, as my daughter can attest, because we did Chicken Salad Live. Who remembers Percy? Wasn't it Percy? I feel like it was Percy. I think anybody who was part of that Chicken Salad Live, and Lori was there. Lori was on our live, and I was turning Percy, and my gosh, I poked through that chicken so many times. And I swear to you, that does not typically happen to me. That was like the first time that had happened to me. And I was like, what is happening? I'm on a live. Lori Holt is here. What is happening? Why do I keep poking through? And then I started, now I've shortened my stitch length. At that time, I was not shortening my stitch length. And so now my stitch length is much shorter. And I still poke through every once in a while because apparently I have a heavy hand, but it doesn't happen that often anymore. But thank you for the heads up. I will try to be more careful. However, I cannot make any guarantees.
Connie says, yes, I'm sewing today. I have all my squares cut. Now I get to sew Prairie.
Oh, good. Wow, you have everything cut up. I was a little bit behind due to traveling and stuff with my cutting prep. And so now I'm kind of cutting as I'm going along, but I cut each fabric completely for the whole quilt. I think I've showed you guys. I will show you again. So my blocks are in these bins. This is block 5, what I have cut so far for it. So like when I cut this fabric, I went through and I cut it for all of the blocks. So see, that fabric is in block 6. And then I put it in my little bins. And then I just pull the bin when it's time to get it all ready to go.
Debbie LaCroix says, I'm loving Audible and love hearing your recommendations. I've accumulated 4 credits and they're like gold waiting for some great reads.
They are. It's so exciting when you get a credit. You're like, oh my gosh, I have a credit. What am I going to get? What book am I going to get? I love it. It's exciting. And I really do love listening to it. Usually I'll have it on if I'm in here sewing by myself. Or I will have it on at the shop if I'm there working by myself, getting stuff done. Or I will have it on my headphones while my family is otherwise occupied with whatever it is they're doing. I will turn on my headphones and like especially during my little one's nap time or something like that. Like I'll have the monitor next to me and then have my headphones on and listen to it while I'm stitching or crocheting. And then the real treat is when I don't have anybody in the car with me and I can listen to it in the car. That doesn't happen very often. There are usually children in the vehicle with me.
Connie says, good to know. Thank you for all the info.
You are welcome.
Maureen says, thank you. That's what I did, but as a continuous outline. First time doing this.
It's your first time doing a Lori quilt. I'm going to put this up a little bit because it feels like it's down too far. Oh, there, that's better. It's your first time doing a Lori quilt, and are you loving it? I love it when people jump on the Lori fun train. Because it's fun and it's uniting and it's fun to hang out with people and make some beautiful things. bright spot in my day.
Connie says, this is my first Lori Holt quilt and I'm loving it.
I love it. Are you going to do Calico? Have you made a decision yet about Calico?
Laurel says, don't you love Lori Holt's applique method?
I do. Yes, I absolutely do. I prefer it. Like once I saw her do it, I was like, oh, wow. I mean, because I'd done other applique methods and I did not enjoy it. I understand that there are pros and cons to both, but it was not enjoyable to me. I found myself getting frustrated. I found it being a very messy process. And this, it makes sense in my brain and I find it enjoyable. As long as I don't poke through the shapes. Every time I do that from now on, I find myself thinking, darn it, Percy. Because that's the first time that happened. It stands out very clearly in my brain. So I always refer to those errors, poke throughs as Percy. I'm cursing Percy under my breath.
Karen J says, just came on, so I don't know if you addressed this. I had so much trouble with the tall leaves. The tip would not turn. Is there something I'm doing wrong?
The long, skinny ones. Yeah, that was tricky for me as well. I don't think that you're doing anything wrong. I think you could, if it, of course, I haven't pieced this one together, but I don't think that I just did the best that I could. And I know that there's some of the tips still in there that I couldn't get out like all the way. And I think it'll be fine. Like I said, I haven't placed it all together yet, but I'm feeling like this will be fine. But what I could have tried, and I didn't, was to cut a little bit lower into that skinny part to see if that helped fully get that tip out. And then, just use your seam roller to kind of roll the interfacing back like you sometimes have to do. I didn't try that. I just poked it out as best as I could. And I feel like this will probably be okay. But I should have maybe tried to cut down a little bit farther, which would have allowed me to get down in there a little bit better and maybe work it out a little bit better.
Maureen says, I ended up using a very, very thin interfacing for that flower and it worked much better.
For which flower? For which flower, Maureen?
Carolyn says, oops, just came online. Hi.
Hello, Carolyn.
Lori Holt says, hello.
Hello, Lori. Are you still glamping? And I have been a little bit jealous of your pictures because it looks like you're having a fabulous time, which I love. And I hope you are. And it's beautiful. The pictures you've been sharing are just gorgeous.
Connie says, haven't heard of Calico.
Connie, I am here to help you with that. Let me show you. Okay, so Calico is the next collection. Let's talk Calico for just a second. Calico is the next collection from Lori Holt. It's releasing in December. And I'm going to show you this picture. Just prepare yourself, Connie. Because with every collection Lori does, she releases a sew-along quilt, which is what we're enjoying right now through Prairie. And then she releases a boxed quilt kit, which I felt like I had here, which for Prairie is Shoe Fly Stars, which is gorgeous. And that's pieced. The Shoe Fly Stars is pieced. Prairie, Meadow is obviously applique. Then she also releases typically a table runner with each collection. So for Prairie, that was called, wow, something's happening upstairs. For Prairie, that was called Wild Flowers Table Runner. And that one was a pieced one. Like this, for example, is a table runner from Lori's collection, flea market, her flea market collection. And this one was pieced and applique. So usually with each collection, she releases those options with the collection. So Calico is in the next collection coming out in December. And this is the sew along kit quilt that is being done with Calico. Prepare yourself. It looks like this. Without the glare. There we go. That is Calico. It is called Calico Garden. It has a mixture of piecing and applique, and it is stunning. It is stunning. Like I joked when I first got the storyboard that I wanted to frame and hang this storyboard in my living room above the fireplace because it's so gorgeous. So this is coming out in December. The sew along starts at the end of January. And we have kits for reservation in the shop. It's beautiful.
Karen says, this is my first Lori quilt and I'm loving it.
You are, Karen? See? Come join us on the Lori Trail. It's so fun. I mean, I have a really hard time resisting doing all of her sew along quilts because number one, it's fun to sew with your friends. So I enjoy sewing with Lori and seeing her blocks, and it motivates me to keep up and get my blocks done too. And then be able to share them with people and be sewing with a community of people. Because I share my blocks through our Instagram page and I see you guys sharing your blocks. Of course, Lori shares her blocks and she sees people sharing their blocks out there too. And it's just enjoyable. It feels like you're not in it on your own, even though we're not like in the same town or living close to each other. You can still have fun sewing with each other.
Maureen says, yes, very much. I fell in love with all the color combos and new experience.
Yes, the colors are so happy. They're so fun to work with.
Maureen says, when I started sewing down, I really thought I was going to straight stitch, but practiced a small zigzag and it looks so much neater.
Oh, okay. So I have typically done straight stitch mainly because if I did zigzag, I'd have to use a different machine and I didn't want to do that. So mainly just from being lazy is what I'm saying. And so that's interesting to know. I like hearing that feedback because that's good to know. I like hearing people's experiences.
Lori says, so happy to see Prairie Meadow happenings.
I know. Isn't it exciting? I know that Lori was so excited. This quilt has a lot of meaning for her. It has a lot of meaning for her family and her ancestry. And it's kind of paying tribute to her ancestors, which of course I love because I love people's stories and I love history and all of that. So I know that she was really looking forward to starting this quilt. So pretty. Okay, what goes? Okay. I'm going to do these next so I can put them in the middle of these.
Lori says, for tall leaves, you simply cut the interfacing down a little further and use the turner like I showed you in the video, then use the seam roller to press.
Yeah. So I think I probably didn't cut down far enough, but that thought did occur to me as I was doing it. So there you go. Might just try to cut down a little bit further and it'll allow you to get down in there and get that tip turned.
Tammy S says, hello, I made it.
Hello, Tammy S. How are you this fine fall day?
Karen says, good suggestion on cutting in a bit back and using the roller. Thanks.
Yes.
Lori says, I use a small zigzag. It almost looks invisible.
Maybe I need to pull up the other machine and do that. I haven't appliqued down any of my pieces yet. So I could. Decisions.
Martha says, I love these sew-alongs and keeps me moving along in these lovely kits. The colors and designs are so beautiful, Lori.
So true.
Lori says, yes, I'm on vacation.
Oh, I love it. I saw your picture this morning of your stitchy setup, and I was like, oh, that looks so relaxing and so nice.
Sally Quilt says, I found cutting Lauren tip was a mistake. I turned it as best I could and then used a pin to wheedle out a bit more. The pokey little pineapple says, I love that you're actually working on the quilt. Makes me feel like a slacker.
You're not a slacker. I just need to keep plugging away to try to stay up to date with stuff. And I know from the very beginning, we had talked about you guys wanted to do Prairie Meadow Live, and I did too. And here we are. What is Lori on now? She's on block 5. And we hadn't had a chance to do it. Of course, Garden of Quilts was thrown in there. There was has been stuff going on for everyone. So this is the first time we've been able to do it. But it really helps me make some progress, and spending some time chatting with you guys makes that fun. So I like doing these lives, and you never know what you're going to get. Oh my gosh, when was that one? My daughter laughed and laughed after we had one live. It was a chicken salad live. And I was talking about needing to go get my hair done, which I have to go get my hair done again. I have a hair appointment next week. I started using this new root concealer. Have you guys ever used this? So I went to get my hair done one time, and I had to push my appointment back a little bit because stuff was going on. And so by the time I went in, I was pretty gray. And my person said, let's have some real talk. You really need to look into a root concealer. And I was like, what? That is why? Like, I'm not old enough to need a root concealer. And she's like, yeah, you are. And so I started using a root concealer to get me through those final weeks until I can get in there and get an appointment done. But anyway, one time during Chicken Salad Live, we were talking about going to get my hair done. I said, oh, it's such a process. And then Lori, who is funny, she said, haha, Angela, going to get your hair colored is such a process. And I was like, what? I don't understand. And then do you remember when it hit me? And I was like, oh, processing your hair. I get it. So sometimes you never know where the conversations are going to go on these lives, and you never know what I'm going to catch on to and what I am not going to catch on to. My gosh, I was laughing so hard.
Judy says, apples are in the kettle cooking on the stove, taking a much needed break with coffee and Dutch apple cake. Enjoying your video.
Oh, I love it. Canning applesauce, that is a job. It is a job. I have done that in the past, and my goodness, it is like, I understand what you mean when you say you're sitting down, taking a load off for a little bit and taking a little bit of a break, because that is a process. But it's always nice to go pull some. We freeze some, and we can like jar some. And so it's always nice to go pull some homemade applesauce out of the pantry or freezer.
Kay says, I'm cross-stitching today, working on fall on the farm. Since COVID, I cannot sit in my sewing room chair for more than 30 minutes before my left foot and ankle begin to swell. Long haulers unite.
Oh my gosh. I do not like hearing that. This would be maybe uncomfortable, but I wonder if you could prop up your left leg while you're in your sewing chair. That might be not a very comfortable position, though.
Maureen says, in the long leaf, I didn't put interfacing at the point, but I did sew the entire shape, and then at the point, I folded back the fabric on the stitch line. It worked, and so far those tips are hidden.
Oh, nice.
Kathy says, I'm new to this quilting. I have the shoe fly kit. I have trouble with the pinking edges of the fabric. Do you measure from the edges of the points? You're behind.
The pinking? Is that what she said? Oh, I don't pink my fabric. So I don't know. Does anybody else out there do that? And do you measure from the tip of the points or from the valley? I would think you would measure. I think whatever you choose, you just need to be consistent throughout. I would almost think you'd want to measure from the valley, but for some reason, I feel like people measure from the tip.
Sherry says, yes, you measure to the end of the points.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
Connie says, thank you for the info. I didn't realize that she did lots of other things with each of her patterns. That's so good to know. I feel like she has such a good creative eye for matching and her colors.
So true. And so if you don't follow her on YouTube, that's a great place to start. And of course, continue to follow Happy Little Stitch Shop because we do a lot of stuff with Lori's designs. But I have so much stuff I could share with you. But yes, she does lots and lots of creative stuff. And not only through her releases. That's why I'm saying if you follow her YouTube channel, you will see that she offers lots of other series that you can join in, quilting from your stash and doing stuff like that.
Tammy says, I'm great, thanks. Beautiful out here.
It is a beautiful fall day. Isn't it the best?
Kay says, I love a buttonhole stitcher on my pieces. I'm going to try to do Lori's technique on this quilt. I usually do raw edge fusible applique. I did do starch and press for hand applique on blue.
Oh, yeah. I hope you like her. I mean, I'm in love with her method, so I hope you'll like it too.
Connie says, I also tried to stay away from applique, but now I'm loving it.
I love applique. It's one of my happy places. I love doing applique. And I like doing a mix. I feel like applique just adds a lot to your options. Ta-da! Okay.
Lily Foss says, I love your quilt blocks. They're so beautiful, Angela. I don't like doing applique, but I did do the Lori's chicken quilt. Everything Lori makes is so cute.
It's so cute. Why don't you like doing applique? What do you have against applique, Lily? I'm curious, like, what is it about it that you don't like, and how can I help cure that for you? Because I love it when people join in for stuff. Like, it just makes me bubbly and happy. And I always feel like the more the merrier. And so and plus I like to share these passions with people. So how can I help you? How can I help you come to the applique side and love it?
Lori says, I show you exactly how to do my zigzag applique stitch on a sewing machine on my YouTube tutorial. I link it into every video description that has to do with applique. And thank you for the kind words about my designs. I appreciate you all so much.
Yeah, so if you check out for zigzag stitch, the kickoff for Prairie Meadow, I bet her tutorial will be linked in the description for that. I'll need to go back and check it out myself.
Judy says, do you freeze your applesauce?
I do. Some of it I do. Not all of it. I think we actually have some jars right here. I have 2 closets over here. You'll see when I do like a sewing room tour that you guys have asked for after we get everything set up. Maybe you'll see. Maybe I won't. One side is sewing stuff. The other side is like pantry, because we don't have a pantry in our kitchen. And so it's filled with junk food for the 5 teenagers we have here, and our little one who does not eat the junk food that the older kids eat. I think we have some jarred, and then a lot of it we freeze. Yeah. In like big ice cream gallon buckets. So, because we can get out a bucket of applesauce and go through it in no time with this crew.
Kay says, can't prop my leg up high enough to actually prevent edema, which is above the level of the heart, without ending up on the floor.
Could you try and take a picture? I'm kidding. Don't do that. I'm kidding. I'll try and I'll take a picture of myself. I'll put myself in that situation, but you don't do that. I was walking on the bleachers at the boys' football game the other day, and it had rained, and the bleachers are those like aluminum bleachers, and so it was very wet, and I had flip-flops on because I don't like to wear shoes, and I almost fell like 5 times walking along the bleachers. I was like holding the rail and I said, oh my gosh, I am going to wipe out. And this guy at the top of the bleachers goes, hold on, let me get my camera. I was like, nice. I laughed. I thought that was funny, but it was slippery.
Lisa Henderson says, I think different companies do their pre-cuts differently. Some use the peaks and some use the valleys. You just have to measure a few to know.
Yeah.
Sally Quill says, good home design. You can keep the snacks close to the sewing area.
Right. Right. If I ever get like stranded in my sewing studio, I'll be set. I'll be set with nourishment and food.
That's it. Oh wait. Judy says, when I do applique, I use heat and bond and do either raw edge applique or a blanket stitch. Can this method be done with Lori's patterns, and would I still need the templates?
I would say yes. I mean, Lori would probably give you a better answer than I could ever give you. But I would say yes, you could probably still use it. But yeah, you would still need the templates for all the shapes.
Stitching with the Sisterly says, happy Friday to all.
Hello, Colleen. How is your Prairie Meadow coming along? I think I saw at least that you're through block 2, if I'm not mistaken. and the debate about that being a whip or a finish, each block.
Kay says, yes, that's the method I use. And then Stitching Granny 17 says, yes, it can. I did it. Just had to reverse the shapes before tracing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Colleen says, I'm behind. I'm working on block 3.
Block 3. That one. That one went together pretty quickly. That's the other thing, is that even if you're a little bit behind, I feel like it doesn't take terribly long to get back on track again.
That's it.
So we talked about books. I finished Elm Creek Quilt Series number 2, Round Robin. It's very good. I was like nearly in tears at the end with all of the announcements from Sylvia. Oh my gosh. And then now I started These Is My Words, which I was telling everybody, Lori, was recommended by you a few live streams ago. And I am really enjoying it. I want to see what's going to happen with all of these poor pioneers just trying to find a place to live. So good. This weekend is homecoming weekend. So we have a homecoming parade today to go to. Dee is marching in the parade, and R is in the parade for volleyball. The boys are supposed to be in the parade for football, but apparently they couldn't find a trailer, so they're not going to be in the parade, which they were not upset about because they said, yay, now we can catch candy. It's like, okay, priorities. So we have that today. And then tonight, Dee plays pep band for the football game. And she's playing Alphorn for the football game too. 3/4. Trying to center these 3/4. 5/8. So it's kind of an exciting weekend. We have a parade today, pep band tonight, football game tomorrow, a soccer game tomorrow, homecoming dance tomorrow night, soccer game Sunday. So there's not much going on.
Colleen says, I can stay on track if Cheryl leaves me be, lol.
That's part of her plan. That's her tricky plan. If I can throw Colleen off, then I will get ahead.
Tammy S says, I'm reading Round Robin now.
And how are you liking it? Are you enjoying it?
The Pokey Little Pineapple asks, who is the author?
So for Elm Creek Quilt Series, the author, what?
Yes, that one.
That one is Jennifer Chiaverini.
Chiaverini.
Oh, did somebody already say it?
I don't know. I just remember how to spell it.
Oh, wow. What? I want to show the picture of it. Here it is.
This is Audible.
Every time. Okay, so the first one in the Elm Creek Quilt Series collection is called The Quilter's Apprentice, and it's by Jennifer Chiaverini. I don't know. That's it. And her name is at the bottom. Chiaverini. Oh, I spelled it right. So that's how it looks, and that's what the author's name is.
Lily says I made handmade soap. So today I'm
Ooh.
trimming soaps and watching you guys. Love that everybody chats together.
I love that you're making soap, Lily. What sense? I'm curious.
Lori says there are 3 books in that series by Nancy Turner.
There are. Oh, are they all? Do they all follow the same people? So These Is My Words is a series. I felt like it was only one book. Oh, now I'm committed to a 3-book series.
Colleen says Homecoming is the best.
It is fun. Like small town excitement. People are excited. I will say we had a volleyball game last night for D. And I could not, sometimes it's hard to come down after that stuff. Like I could not sleep last night. I seriously need to go to these games and I need to crochet or stitch to kind of just. She's over here going, yes, you do. Because I get fired up. I don't know. So I need something to kind of just be there to support my kid and cheer her on and but remain calm.
Jane says hope Dee and her siblings have a wonderful homecoming weekend.
Thank you, Jane. You are so sweet.
Lori says sorry I'm in and out. Wi-Fi is sketchy here.
You are okay. I'm so tickled that you're with us today. I really felt like you wouldn't be because I thought that you'd still be soaking up your glamping time. I'm so glad that you're having a fun vacation to just, have some you time. And I thank you so much for jumping on today. I'm so glad to hear from you because I've missed chatting with you lately. Life has been busy for everyone. So yay! Sending you happy hugs.
Tammy says I'm loving it. I finished book 1 in 2 days.
Which one?
I think
Home Creek.
Yeah,
because so. You're on round robin now. It's so good. I was, like I said, sobbing like a baby at the end of the second one. Like, oh my gosh, I want to open an Elm Creek quilt manor. I just have the little leaves to cut out. So I want to get this done, and then I'll probably have to wrap it up.
Judy says, thanks everyone that answered my questions.
You're welcome, Judy.
Lori Holt says, I thought I had said the 3 titles when I recommended the series to you.
Oh, you probably did. I don't remember things sometimes. Yeah, you probably did. And I heard a third of it. I remembered a third of it. My memory is 2/3 bad.
Lori says, I'm stitching and relaxing this morning, so I thought I'd try and tune in.
Nice. Yeah, you're working on your red sampler, which is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I feel like I feel like most people probably do, have very similar cross-stitch chart tastes to Lori. I love the red samplers that you are doing. And really almost all of the things that you're stitching. And so every time I see progress, it motivates me to get done. And you guys, my goal was, do you remember, was to finish Flea Market Flowers cross stitch before October 1st. So then it opened up kind of a lane for Autumn Love. And I'm nearly done. And I have tonight to make that happen. So be ready for a post from me tonight at like midnight saying, I did it. Flea Market Flowers is complete. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, I shared with you guys on Monday. Why don't you grab that? I'll just share with you really quick because this was my first time venturing out into having someone else frame a piece for me. And so I decided to try it at Hobby Lobby. My mom, if you guys remember, we did Jack Frost Tree Farm last year for a stitch along. And I started it, and then my mom jumped in and she stitched the rest of it for me. And so I decided I wanted to get it framed for her as a present. And I'm whispering because if she's watching, she won't hear me whisper. Okay, so here it is. So I went to Hobby Lobby to try out Hobby Lobby and see what I thought of their framing services. And so here it is. Here is Jack Frost Tree Farm, fully finished, stitched a tish by me and the rest by my mom. And I'm going to give that to her as a little gift. Ta-da! There's that. So that was my first professional framing experience.
Lori says the other two are Sarah's quilt and then the Star Garden.
Okay. Will you remember that? You have a much better memory than I do. You'll remember that. Commit it. You can do it.
What?
Oh, she's going to make a note.
Yup.
Apparently your brain is getting too full of school stuff. Sarah's quilt and then the Star Garden. Judy says, I wanted to finish my current cross stitch project before Autumn Love, but it's not going to happen. I may have to have 2 projects going at the same time. Judy, you can do it because I have probably 20 projects going at the same time. Like, you can do it. Especially if it might be close. Like, I'm really, really close on flea market flowers, so it'll get done. It'll get done for sure. Oh, so maybe Lori can answer this. Autumn Love. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to stitch on 25 count or 36 count. I feel like I'm probably going to end up stitching on 25 count. People have been asking me, I've had lots of questions from people about, do you have to start in the center? I always start in the top left corner. Am I okay doing that? Is there some reason that this needs to be started in the center? I usually measure in like a little bit. And I think your barley fat quarter size should give plenty of room for that. So I don't know. I'm planning on starting in the upper left corner again, unless I shouldn't. I always start in the top left too. It seems easier for me. And I usually don't get questions like that for cross stitch. Like every once in a while, especially if it's a new cross stitcher, but now for some reason I've been getting a lot of questions about, are we supposed to start this in the center? I said, I don't know. I think you can start it however you want to start it.
Judy says, I love it. So pretty.
Oh, the cross stitch. Thank you. I'm excited. I hope she likes it.
Kathy says, I just caught this. The piece is lovely framed.
Thank you.
The Pokey Little Pineapple says, very nice results.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope she likes it.
Nancy says, it's gorgeous, Angela.
Thank you.
Laurel says, looks great.
I mean, I really didn't do anything. I just dropped it off and picked it up. But thank you. I guess I did pick out the stuff, the matting and the frame. They didn't have a red frame. I really wanted just a red frame. That's not gonna work. I'm trying to cut with this. they didn't have a red frame, so I wanted to get some red in there somewhere, and so that's where the red matting came in.
Sherry says it looks amazing, Angela. I have that kitted up and ready to start.
Oh, nice. Jack Frost Tree Farm. Such a cute stitch. The hardest part about me turning over stitching to somebody else is that I want to do it. Like, I selfishly want to stitch that. And so when I turned it over to my mom, I was like, oh, I want to stitch this one. But it was kind of cool that we both she put in a lot of work on it. I put in a little bit of work on it. So it's kind of cool to have that too, a stitch that we both worked on.
Kay says, love the finish.
Thank you.
Jay says, Lori Holt, fabric bundles for your quilts come in different sizes, fat quarter, etc. But what bundle has enough fabric to make this quilt? I don't want to buy a big bundle where I'll have too much left.
For this quilt? So you'd need a fat quarter bundle for the Prairie Meadow quilt, and then you need extra fabric on top of that.
Lily says, oh my goodness, I love your cross stitch that you framed. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank
I think
you.
your mom is going to love it.
Thank you, Lily. That's nice of you.
Sherry says, I always start in the top left. I think everyone should start where they're most comfortable.
Yes.
The pokey little pineapple says, at least it's not like cooking. Nothing left for a while gets burnt.
That's true. That's true.
Judy says, I used to always start in the top left and now I started in the center. I think it's an age thing, lol.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way that it used to be. I used to always start in the center as well. And then, and that's what my mom did all the time. I think that's the way you were taught. And then I started starting in the top left, and now I just do that all the time.
Lori says, you will need to start in the center if you're using 25 count barley. That is called for because that gives you a little more than 1.5 inches on each side, so you want it centered. I always start in the top right corner and I'm stitching on 36 count, so no worries about centering because the design will end up smaller the higher the count.
Yeah. So that's, for me, a pro to using 36 count because I really do not like starting in the center. Oh, I don't enjoy center starts. I started in the center for so she did. So she did. You think you can't? She thought she could, so she did.
Yep.
I started in the center for that one, and that wasn't bad, but I stitched that one on 10 count. So, I don't know. I don't want to start in the center. So maybe I'll do it on 36 count. But the barley is fabulous.
That's it.
I'm gonna have to ponder that. I'm almost done with my leaves, but not quite. And we are over a little bit. So I'm going to turn this one and we're going to wrap it up. Wrap it up. Does anybody have any questions before we say goodbye for the weekend? I hope you guys have some fun things planned for the weekend. And I hope that you all have a fun weekend and are able to get outside, maybe enjoy some nice weather. I don't know. That's what I hope to do. It sounds like heaven to me right now to maybe take some stitching outside and stitch out in the fall weather. Love it.
Lori says when you start in the center on the 25 count, that only means the sides are a little tight. You can start in the center of the top row, not the entire center of the design.
Oh. Well, there you go. My gosh, I'm still getting used to these glasses. Thank you, Angela, for all the motivation through the song. You are welcome. Okay, so you guys have a fabulous weekend. Thank you so much for coming and sewing with me a little bit today. I'm sorry that our camera didn't work and we're still trying to figure that out. If you see that we have gone live again after we're done here, pay no attention to it because we're going to mess around with stuff and try to figure out if we can get this up and running so then we can use it for future stuff. Lori says it's only because the size of the fabric cut. Yes. So if you do a bigger cut, then you'll be safe. Yep. Got it. So Lori, enjoy the rest of your vacation. I hope you're having a fabulous time and thank you so much for jumping on today. I really appreciate that. And everybody have a fabulous weekend. And I will see you next week on Monday for sure. And on Thursday, Monday for Floss Tube, Thursday for Quilting Live. And block 4 will be done by then. And I will be moving on to block 5 and also my remix, 13 and 14. I will be moving on to get those done. So hopefully I'll have some progress pictures for you guys on Instagram over the weekend. Fingers crossed. And Flea Market Flowers, midnight tonight. I'll post that for you guys. So have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Take care. Happy stitching, and we'll see you next week.